Back Row Ministry of the World Premier, Mr. Martin, coming at you live and direct, as always. Doing what I got to do to stay true. Another beautiful Tuesday, which is my Monday at work, of course. But grateful to be alive, grateful to be here once again. I will drop my 89 through about 92 videos picked. I'm gonna do 92 to 2000, try to get the top 5 for that. Kind of be rough, but I'm gonna do that with a, I'm go over a couple of lists and pull my top 5 out of that. Should be easy. I kind of know which way I'm going with that. I already know what will be one of my top 5. What's my top 5 for that year? But I'm gonna pull it together. But I'm gonna drop that next video on you guys. It's been uploaded to Reverb Nation, where I have all my music, and we're going into the time of the 47th Problem, which is the new album, which will be coming out next year. The 47th Problem. So let's talk about the death of George Bush, Daddy Senior, as we like to call him. The nation is been called to a national day of mourning, which will take effect Wednesday. They're shutting down the government for the ritual, which happened on the 1st. And we're going to talk about December 1st, why that was the date that George decided to allow his life to expire, because that's what happened. And look over the history of the person that I would like to call the crack president. So George Bush Sr., as you know, was in charge of the CIA for a long period of time. It is stated that he was a part of the True Murder Inc., as I call them, the True Murder Inc., the people who plotted certain assassinations. It's rumored that they did plot the assassination attempt on Fidel Castro, the failed Bay of Pigs that fell into the gutter. Killed many of leaders, many of people who were seen as enemies to their world order at the time. And Bush Sr. is the person who began to make the call for what he called the New World Order, which is the Masonic order as the way they see it. Remember, this is the Order Out of Chaos Committee. And you got to remember that everybody belongs to various societies. So he's a member of Skull and Bones. And it's rumored that he's also tied into the Thelemites. And the Thelemites, as you know, are our light worshipers, those that read the Book of Law, authored in by the great man of evil himself, the pedophile and child murderer, Aleister Crowley, who is rumored to be the father, which I had heard the rumor but didn't really know, the father of his wife, Barbara Bush. They're saying that Crowley, and if you look at the pictures, you see the resemblance, that Crowley is the father of Barbara Bush. So the family is tied into Thelema, and his organization, of course, is Thelema. That's the organization that Crowley was involved in. And if that's the father, then now you see where this family has all this power from. Also, a side note, L. Ron Hubbard was a follower of Aleister Crowley. And remember that L. Ron Hubbard is the author of Scientology, the Scientology books. And he's one of the creators of Scientology. So you see where they get some of their views from, if he was down with the pedophile and child murderer, Aleister Crowley. So you got the crack president. He works under Reagan, which let the cocaine flow in, let the crack flow in the mid 80s. And in the late 80s, of course, Bush becomes the president and lets the crack really flow in at that time. So a lot of your crack epidemic happened inside of the Reagan and the Bush years. But he's been notated as one of the best presidents. And they even had one article to say the best president that didn't get a second term. So how is he so good, but the people didn't vote him in twice? But we're told that we should mourn this person. Now, George Sr. lived 94, a full life, but why should I mourn George Sr., a person who brought crack cocaine and let cocaine flow through the community and pretty much decimated the African American community with the crack epidemic, kind of helped the flow of cocaine at that time with their so-called drug wars. No, I don't think I should mourn the loss of this person. And I hate that in this country, people try to dictate who you should have feelings for, especially when that person is known to be an evil person. This is the man whose son was involved in a mass murder of Americans on 9/11, and that's what it was, a mass murder on national TV of my brothers and sisters, fellow Americans, and then they act like they don't know what the hell took place. But these are the type of evil society these people are a part of, and the Bushes are a family built and bred of the bloodline and built from a very evil bloodline at that. So it is no question of some of the dastardly deeds they participated in. This is the lineage of this family, from Prescott to Aleister Crowley. You see some of the things that these people were a part of as far as being part of their heritage, and they continued that with 9/11 and crack cocaine and starting cocaine epidemics and all sorts of stuff. So Daddy Bush is no one to be celebrated in my book. Daddy Bush was a major part of a lot of the problems here in America, and they always play the philanthropist role and they care about everybody. But you know, a good idea of this, if you saw the Wonder Woman movie. I love movies. I always like to pull things out of movies. But if you saw the Wonder Woman movie, you remember when she was searching for the evil god. I forgot his name in the film. It's gonna cross my head in a minute. But she thought that the perception of this evil god was the head of the German army at the time, the guy who was kind of calling the shots for the Germans, trying to annihilate people. But the true evil was the person that had befriended her, and he was talking about peace, and he was talking about love, and he was sitting there with the good guys the whole time. And that's pretty much how true evil works. They say keep your friends close, your enemies even closer. So true evil would keep their enemies as close as possible. So he was playing like he was on their side, but at the same time, he was the one plotting and keeping the war going all along. So true evil always comes in a friendly face. It doesn't come in the face that you perceive most of the time. Sometimes true evil comes in a friendly face. And the Bushes put on this dynasty kind of performance of this great family that's marred in just evil. From Prescott to Aleister Crowley to Daddy Sr. to George Bush Jr. You see this evil that's kind of been this cloud over this family. And you know, they probably gonna get the White House again. But now you know why they got the White House twice, having the Thelemite ties and the Masonic ties at the same time through Skull and Bones. So a very evil family. And this president, in my opinion, is no one to mourn. I'm not condoning anyone's death, but you know, I'm not going to mourn a person who's done just heinous things. And they always tell us, well, you should mourn this person. No, why? Because you say so? No, I'm not in mourning. Why? Let his family mourn him. But you know, I'm not going to mourn a person who's done evil things. You know what I'm saying? I wish his soul the best and whatever hellfire that they have waiting for him. But outside of that, I'm not going to mourn a person who's done devilish things. And we need to stop mourning people who've done evil things. Evil is not good, but they try to get you to praise evil under the veil that these were really good people, when at the end of the day, these were some of the most demonic people that you ever wanted to meet. And you saw the capacity they had for evil inside of some of their acts. And if you read some of the things in some of the biographies about Bush, some of the evil things he's done, it would kind of change your mind about this guy who was so goody-tooty. And this is also the guy who continuously called about the New World Order, a world where, and he always made this statement where the law of the jungle doesn't rule. Well, the law of the jungle is that only the strong survive. That's the law of the jungle. So he's saying, well, only the strong won't survive in this. The rule of law is going to be the new law. Who's going to make this rule of law? Who's going to be in control of these new laws? And he kept calling for that, and now we're heading into this new world order. Possibly we won't get there if we continue to fight back and resist the foolishness of the Order Out of Chaos committees. Mr. Mahdi, Back Row Ministry, peace and hair grease.